why should Christians be so interested if we're going to be taken away from this planet in the end?
Well, that's
theology potentially, but
yeah,
feel free to clarify that.
Yeah, the Bible says that God will make a new heaven and a new earth. Everything will be remade, but in the meantime, we're like tenants of a stately home. Stour Head, for example, which is the Hall family one, beautiful gardens. And imagine that you've been put in as the tenants, and the owner is going to come back. You have to look after it. You can't just crash it. And God is the owner. God is the Hall family, and I'm the estate manager, if you like. And no, we must look after it. And creation is good, and humans are wrecking it. So yeah, I guess, you know, like a lot of things in life, my father, as I mentioned, was quite eccentric. He was very interested in the environment as well as Bible smuggling. He used to do like guerrilla environmental activity on the motorways. This was a long time ago. Probably the police were not as strict, but he used to stop and plant trees and bulbs and stuff on the M25 and on the motorway. One time his car was parked on the side of the motorway, and one of the people in his church was driving by, and they recognised his car, and they thought, oh dear, John's broken down. So they pulled in front. They couldn't see him, and then they could see him bending over right at the top of the bank. Oh, crumbs, he's being sick or something. So you're right. He said, oh, don't worry, I'm just planting daffodils. So, yeah. And then at university, as God would arrange, my roommate was a wonderful guy called Chris Naylor, who was for many years the head of our Rocha, and which is a fantastic Christian environmental organisation. It's Portuguese for the rock. And we went out several times to see Chris and his family, his wife Susanna and their 3 children, Sam, Chloe and Josh in Lebanon. They spent 15 years there, and Chris and his team turned up, basically a kind of environmental disaster area, marsh, into a beautiful flourishing wetland. Now, tragically, and again, this is the same thing as to why this happened, I don't know. Last October, Chris and Susanna were on a field trip in South Africa with another couple, Peter and Miranda Harris. Peter and Miranda founded a Rocha and handed over to Chris and Susanna, and they had a car accident. And Chris and Susanna and Miranda were killed instantly, leaving their 3 children, who obviously I'm very friendly with. And I went to the memorial service and also to the crematorium, and that's really hard. So yeah, even more so, I would say, because of Chris's and Susanna's amazing example. I'm even more interested in the environment now. And the organisation I got involved in was the Woodland Trust. So I just love trees. My children always laugh when we watch Lord of the Rings. At the end, say, nobody loves the trees, and they all say, Dad does. So, yeah, well, they call me a tree hugger. I don't know why. I just think there's something amazingly beautiful about trees. So, yeah, for years I was a trustee of the Woodland Trust. It's an amazing organisation. And the wonderful thing about trees is you just need tiny acorns, right? You take a barren field, you take a group of school children, you let them loose, with maybe little saplings, tiny things. Some of the children put them in the wrong way up. You have to show them how to do that. You come back 10, 15 years later, it's a forest, a mighty forest is growing. They're absolutely stunningly beautiful things, trees. And I think Christians should love trees in particular. The Bible is full of references to trees.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'll be honest, sort of trees and environmentalism were probably locked away in the box in my brain where I don't really care about stuff too much for quite a while. And it's only recently I've started to think about the should a Christian view the environment and the earth differently? Should there be a difference between, should Christians kind of be on the forefront of this kind of thing? And I think I was thinking about it recently is we tend to, because most of the people I know who really care about an environment tend to be sort of vegan environmentalists who chain themselves to trees. You kind of see that as like, well, that's kind of the only option, but there's definitely a case to be made for a sort of rational environmentalism where, like you said, we plant trees, we don't recklessly destroy nature. We're a little bit more sensible with how we shop and making sure we recycle. And maybe I'll get more extreme, but definitely at the moment I'm definitely much more conscious of the the impact that my lifestyle and my family's lifestyle can have on the environment, and that I should care about an environment because that's what that God has gifted us the earth to live on, and we should treat it well.
I think that's right, Dan. I think another thing is what business are Christians in? We're in the hope business, right? We're in the hope business, not the hopeless business. So one of I think the challenges with climate change is to give people hope. And because we can feel dwarfed by the vast scale of the project. I mean, a guy called Dave Bookless, who was also at university with Chris and I, has written a very good book called Planet Wise, which is for Christians on how to care for the planet. But the particular thing I would recommend to Christians is go and plant trees. Yeah, if you care about the future, if you believe in that God will one day redeem everything, plant some trees. There'll be trees in heaven. So get out there and join the Woodland Trust and Arosha and start planting is my message. Yeah, I think a danger on both the sharing our faith side and the environment side is we just give up. We're defeatist. This is one of my favourite I did history at university. This is one of my favourite historical quotes, which I think can apply to the church and to the environment. In 1914, the German army was about to defeat the French army. There was also a tiny British expeditionary force of 4 divisions, which was a peanut. And there were 110 German divisions, and they were getting very, very near to Paris. So near that the French government ordered all the files to be burnt in the French capital. Paris was covered with thick black smoke. And it looked like you could hear the German artillery. They crossed the Marne, which is the last river before Paris. Now, a French general called Marshal Foch, who's got a fantastic statue at Victoria, he rallied his troops and he drove them back, the so-called miracle on the Marne. And after that, there was trench warfare anyway. But Foch said this, he said, my left wing gives way, my centre is non-existent, position excellent, I attack. And that's what Christians should be like. We should realise, we're in a world where everything's giving way, even more so coronavirus, but we have hope that we should attack. Now, that doesn't mean that we literally attack our enemies, right? We should love them, but we should go on the front foot. We should be on the offensive. We shouldn't give up. We shouldn't be defeated. Never.
Well, you'd be very pleased, Jeremy. I've got a lovely big eucalyptus tree that I planted last summer. Some bamboo, a couple of palm trees. So I'm trying to do my bit, and my daughter's planted a tree as well. So.
Which kind of tree?
Horse chestnut.
Okay, that's good. All of those, by the way, are not native species, but that's okay. Even the horse chestnut was introduced by the Romans, but that's okay. We forgive you, brother. I give you an indulgence.